Hello and welcome to episode 341 of Tenno Clock. It is now week, I don't know, year, I don't know how long of the shutdown, and we are now still sitting here talking about the awesome game that is Warframe. I am MDRLOz, and this is Xeno, and we're going to probably talk to you about our one topic, probably a dev stream. I don't know, I haven't looked myself, but as always, we start every episode with some emblems to look at.
Cool. So
there is some cool looking emblems. My one is some sort of weird mirrored ember surrounded by blue floaty crystal things and fire and things. And Xeno's is the Omega Legion.
Yeah, yours instantly fails.
Omega Legion.
No, because of the embers.
Why?
Because the embers. Like, I can handle one ember now, but two? Come on.
Is Omega Legion a thing in 40k?
Probably.
Yes, it is. Everything's a thing in 40k, especially if it says Legion in it. There we are. Right, there we go. Xeno wins that one. But if you at home wish to win 150 platinum on your platform of choice, all you have to do is go into the description of this video and click on the link to the googly pagey thing. There you'll find some questions which you'll have to answer, including which platform you want to win your platinum on and your in-game alias. You must get your in-game alias correct, because if you win and it's not correct, then the platinum just disappears into the ether of forever. But you're going to get it right because you want to win, especially if you're on Nintendo Switch, because hardly anyone votes or enters for that platform. So yeah, go into the description below, enter the information, submit it, and you will be in for a chance to win 150 platinum on your platform of choice.
Just to highlight, it's last week's emblems, not this week.
Oh, fine, fair enough. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it changes every other week. There we go. Right, that's what you have to do. So we'll move on, as we always do, towards Dojo dusting.
Yeah. Don't think there's anything to talk about for Dojo dusting. Can you?
There's don't anything to talk about for Dojo dusting. There's all things to talk about for Dojo dusting.
Is there?
Yeah. Like TennoCon.
Oh, we're not going to it, so
if we don't go to Canada,
yeah,
we will actually get to go to the Barrow Katia TennoCon relay
for the first time ever.
For the first time ever. I might actually save up some ducats for this one. I know you probably own everything, but I'm tempted to. I'd love to get to the point where I can hit the.
I always need more prime pedestals. That's correct.
That's true. But do you own all its cosmetics and stuff?
No, there's so many of them I don't like.
Exactly. I'd love to get to the point that I can walk up to Barrow in the TennoCon relay and push hide owned, and there's nothing. I'd love to do that. Ooh. So I'm tempted to start saving up some ducats. But I was going to say, should we maybe, if we are not going to Canada over that time, which we may find out sooner rather than later, organise a Tenno Clock meetup with some people in a relay as part of Tenno Clock? What do you think to that? We'll have our own TennoCon party.
I think there should also be the Discord element too, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, we can do a Patreon one. We can do a general one. We'll see if people want it.
Early
I think maybe that's if people want it. But anyway, if there's nothing else for Dojo dusting, we shall move on.
Yeah, move on. We's cards now, aren't we?
Yes.
I have to do this by hand now. So the first card is: do you think operators should exclusively handle Sentient? So we were talking about the whole dual.
Now, before we start, I'm just going to randomly explain because I feel it's always random that we should explain cards and things now and then.
Sure.
So we'll do another one thing. If you want to answer in the cards this week, these questions are the topics we have. Make sure you click to the cog below. You'll see the annotation, the menu will pop up where you can change things with YouTube. The top one on there should be annotations. You want to turn that on. When that's on, at the top, you should see an eye in the top right-hand corner. Click that, and the card panel will slide out with all the cards, which are polls and votes and questions we have. And the other thing I want to say is you might see, well, what's this? These three letter acronyms mean. They are a way for Xeno to reduce the amount of words he asks in a question, and you'll find the explanations. We try and use the same ones. We only have a few, so people can pick them up in the description below. So, for instance, DYT is...
do you think?
Do you think? So it saves time because that's a lot of characters lost. So here we have, do you think operators should exclusively handle Sentience? Let's see what they say.
All right, so 52 responded. Yay! Need more. 3% said don't care.
Pretty good based on the reduction of
God, yeah.
COVID. I think it's great.
Yeah,
people still vote on these. I really like it.
But I always want more. You know,
Well,
better pool sample size. Still better than university. So 32% said yes. 63 said no. 63% said no. Right?
Most people say no.
Kind of surprising, but I don't want to dwell on this one. I want to get to the other ones first. So next we've got, do you think Warframe players... the Warframe player base is too casual. 53 people responded. 22% said that they didn't know. 30% said no, and 47% said yes. This was oddly, I think, represented.
We all agree we're just casual there.
No, I think this was interestingly represented by the responses during the dev stream of people reacting to the harder modes.
Yes, really?
Yeah. Well, there were so many yes and no's. There were so many positives and negatives towards that. I really want the harder modes, but I want to keep going. Because the next one is the one I really want to highlight. Should sentience come at you in large... No, that's not the next one. It's the last one I want. Should let sentience come at you in larger quantities. Right? 51 people responded. 27% said no. 72% said yes.
Right.
I'm certainly on the no of this because I want the sentience to feel more special. I think maybe if there was like, oh, you open up a room and there's like a bucket ton of the garbage ones that you can just wipe out in a go.
It's really interesting you say that.
But for the most part, I want the variety to be tough.
I want many and them all to be tough.
Yeah.
I want to feel like I walk into a room of 7 sentients and think, damn, I'm not going to be able to handle this.
So do you think there should be no weak ones?
I don't think there should be weak ones.
Fair enough.
It's interesting because you say that follows on from a comment from Zrugel. Should sentience come at you in large quantities? No, because then they'd be just like every other enemy.
Agreed.
Boring.
And
that's why I don't like those really cheap, weak sentience. Yep. They're literally in there to maintain the power fantasy that you're chewing through mobs.
Yeah,
I don't want that.
I want to get to the last one.
Immortal mini bosses.
Right. Really want to get to the last one. So the last one is, should sentience target operators for combat? 51 people responded. 9% said no. 90% said yes.
This terribly conflicts with the first question.
Exactly. Right?
Because if people want to make it the operators... I think separately, when you take the questions in by themselves, and everyone says, should sentience come at you a large quantity? Should sentience target operators for combat? Yeah, that makes sense because they're a threat to them. So everyone says yes. But then when people say, well, do you want to use operators to deal with sentience? Everyone says no because they want the options. And if you have both those, if you take the prevailing answer on both those questions, you have nobody using operators because the minute you step out for your operator, all the sentience will just go, quick, kill that operator. And seeing as you've got other methods to dealing with the sentience other than your operator, you'll just use those even more.
Yeah.
That's terribly conflicting.
Yeah. So, and that's what I really want to highlight. Personally, I think, yes, they should come after your operators, and your operators should be the way to deal with them. Right? Okay. Let's move on to Patreon questions.
Yes.
Yes?
Hang on.
Did I send them to you?
No, you did. I'm just trying to find... There it is. Yep. There was a comment I remembered that I want to bring up in a minute that I was just getting ready. So I've got that. Right. Oh, God, it's long. Let's get the original up. Right. Here we go. Go. Nick Evans. Oh, no. In past videos, Xeno has expressed concerns about how the upcoming broken frame could be done wrong. For both Loz and Xeno, what would be ways, and this is your opinions, I don't want to see judgment in the comment section, that the frame could be done right? Please do. Can I just say, please do bring the judgment in the comment sections. If we say stupid things, I want people to hold us to check on them. Please do. When we screw something up, I love it when it's like, oh, guys, you're idiots. It's actually 3, not 17. And we're like, oh, damn, we really messed up and we don't know Warframe. I love seeing those questions. So no, if people want to hold us to task, please do. Yeah. We're not perfect.
We're not better than anyone.
No
one is.
So please do. If you say, God, you guys are freaking idiots. This is not how that was stupid broken frame. Yeah, tell us. Please do.
So personally, I would like the broken frame to operate similar to Abathur from Heroes of the Storm.
Right.
Which, in sense, the frame latches onto another frame and can act as like a secondary set of guns and things like this. The second the game suspects, oh, you're not interacting, you're being AFK and things like that, it will instantly boot you off, right? So there has to be a bit of work there to, the game
all you'd have to do is make it that while you're in that form, you sort of have a bar that's draining, and as long as you're shooting enemies, you can keep it up.
Yeah.
But it's always going down, and that way, if you AFK or whatever, it's just going to boot you back out.
Yeah.
There's ways around that.
Yeah. So,
to be honest, I'm shocked the amount of random, crazy ways they've been doing frames recently. So yeah, I mean, a frame where. So would you become invincible while you're part of another frame, or?
No, I think your health would actually contribute to
would damage be shared.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you both go down, right? So if the host goes down, you both go down. You both have to be picked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you sort of like detach and, so on and so forth. And maybe while you're detached, you're more vulnerable but I like the idea of the whole symbiosis kicking in. Yeah.
Well, I
may have thought about this.
Hats off to DE. They've made frames that have been really interesting lately. We're doing things which I wouldn't even thought possible, I guess. Things like even Titania is pretty impressive.
Not tried her. Maybe. Not since the rework, I haven't tried her.
No, I mean the fact you just become an Arcwing as a frame before that was even a thing. I was like, wow, look at that. And I wouldn't even thought we would have got that. And I remember the days when I said about the scissor swords and said that it would just be a really bog standard thing. We wouldn't have all the cool ideas with it. But no, they delivered on that. So I think I would like this broken frame to actually deliver something really different and unique. If it's just a frame that's like, oh, it absorbs all the armor from nearby enemies to make itself fixed. It's like, I hope it does something that is genuinely a bit out of the...
Whatever you're banging.
Oh, that's the bottom of the table. Sorry, my bad. So I'm picking this piece of plastic, which I just realized is right underneath the microphone. I was just trying to pick it off, and it was very bad. No, I genuinely would like to see this frame actually do something unique to make it stand apart. Seeing as it is a broken frame, that should mean something more than just it has some generic abilities. I would like to see them push the boat out on this one. That's the term I'm looking for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Nick Evans also asked, during one of the few in-office dev streams this year, the DE sound team showed off the way Protea's fourth ability actually samples the engine audio for doing the rewind portion of the ability. Playing the sound backwards for us as the frame rewinds back to the point of origin. Do you think that any hidden text lines or messages recorded by staff will be unintentionally exposed by this?
Yes.
Samples the engine audio.
Yeah, so the idea is that it will be So when you press 4,
it doesn't just play a rewind time, it actually rewinds the last 30 seconds of sound that was outputted.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right, so apparently when they proposed this, like the sound engineer, the guy that actually builds the software, is like, are you fucking nuts? It's like, where am I going to keep, how are we going to keep... Because if you're going to keep it as a WAV, it's going to be huge in memory.
Yeah.
Right? But then, do you do some additional processing to compress it while it's happening? So on and so forth. So, it's just really interesting.
Is it actually going to do that, though? Or?
Yes, they've actually got it working.
Well, okay. Let's see. Danny Remedios. Why would it... Hang on. Why would it reveal hidden text lines or messages?
No, it's a joke. It's like the whole... You play like rock music or metal music backwards on a vinyl, and then you hear... yeah. Here you go.
Silly Nick Evans. Danny Remedios says, have you ever played a song or two mostly correct on the Shazwin?
Yes, I have. But it'd be hard. It'd be freaking hard. The one that I can do mostly is the We All Stand Together? The iconic Second Dream one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I can do the most. I think the next hardest one is it's too hard for me.
Joshua Minnick says, did you ever get into Bionicle at all? And if so, which one would you base a Warframe on? Mine would be on the Mantuka named Jirox, who I would turn to an actual bona fide vampire Warframe with abilities based solely on the powers of vampires have in the novel Dracula.
You say vampires, I hear Legacy of Kain. Unfortunately, I've never seen it.
Bionicle?
Yeah.
No, yeah. I knew of Bionicle, but I was just a bit too old to get into it. And it seems to have been a really cool thing. If I was probably about 5 years younger, I probably would have loved it to the nth degree. But my Lego was old school Lego. Joshua Minnick also says, I want a lightsaber in Warframe, an actual one, not you plasma sword. But what resources would it take to build, do you think? Maybe DeForth. May DeForth be with you even when this comes out, the 11th.
God, what?
You do have a lightsaber.
What?
You do have a lightsabery sword in the game. It's not the plasma sword. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Silver and Aegis.
That's a fire sword.
Oh.
It's a flaming sword, Loz. It's for adventuring.
So lightsabers aren't for adventuring then?
No. To be fair though, random small tangent. Love the lightsaber work in what's the name of the game? Force Awakened? No, Force Unleashed. Yeah, that was the one where you're playing Darth Vader's apprentice.
Love the second game.
Yeah, love that one. But the lightsaber in I'm playing it now, Jedi Fallen Order. It doesn't cut anything, and it vexes me so. It's like I should be able to slice things to pieces. That was the whole point of when Qui-Gon Jinn stabbed it in the goddamn door, is he was going to cut the door open.
Slice and dice.
Next question.
Danny Remedios says, do you think any major characters in the new war besides the Lotus will die?
No. Like I'd like it.
It's a tricky thing for these kind of games because if they commit to a character dying, it has to make sense and do things. Let's say Teshin. Teshin's a good example. If we were going to kill Teshin, well, then some people, when they go do Conclave, I know it's not done, but it's still there in the game unless they remove it. He's still the Conclave vendor, so you'd have to go there and they either don't do anything and it doesn't make sense that Teshin's there, and even though he's dead. Or they have to make it sort of certain players see certain things and are in different phases of the game, and so a different player or a different thing is replacing Teshin as the vendor. So either they have to commit to phasing, or they just don't bother it. Killing off characters in this kind of online, always-on game has to be done properly, otherwise it just doesn't make sense. That's why Vorpal is hilarious.
Is Cade 6 is a good example, because when he dies in the narrative, he's just gone.
Yes, and that's an interesting way they did it, is that you used to see him in the player spaces, the hangars, and they redistributed everything he used to do and separated out the storyline components into one-off like campaign things. So you can still replay the bits with him, but a new player playing today will go there, won't see him, then we'll start seeing him when if they do the campaign. So that it can be done. They have to commit to it. There's whole systems to make that work.
Yeah.
So are they going to do it for New War? I doubt
it.
I honestly think he wouldn't do that kind of thing, because it means, I don't mean this in a mean way. It means like going back and retroactively fixing things. And unless they just flat out decide a character's going to be dead, like Teshin or something, I don't know. There's not even that many characters to kill, to be honest. Warframe needs more characters. Like Maru, are they going to kill Maru? I don't know. It's like they don't have enough characters in the game, really.
I mean,
let alone ones they could kill off.
If they killed off Ballas, I'd be super happy. But like, I feel that too often narratives do not invent new characters when they should. New villains.
Yeah, new villains. Villains are important. You need your villains to be multifaceted and interesting, because more than just having characters on your side, if your villain is
bland,
not much depth and quite vacuous, it becomes hard to motivate yourself, because you can't relate to the villain, or you can't understand the villain.
You can't hate him.
I'm evil.
Yeah. Look at me. I'm evil.
Notice me. Yeah. So we'll see. Ozidax, could the Stalker's weapons have prime variants? No.
It does. There is prime hate. Isn't there prime hate? I swear there's prime hate. Hate prime.
No.
Isn't there?
No.
Isn't there? I swear there is.
Do you mean Reaper Prime?
I must do. I fail at life. I'm a failure at Tenno. Don't know.
Yeah. God, Reaper Prime used to look so amazing, and now it just feels like it doesn't do anything. Oh well. Wait and see. Oh well. So yeah, no. So the Walker's weapons can't have prime variants. I don't. Maybe they did just look at them when they were designing things like Reaper Prime, but it's not actually Hate Prime. So yeah, unless Hate gets renamed as Reaper or something. I don't know. Yeah. If we ever get to see the entirety of the old war, what perspective would you like to see from it? See it from?
The survivors. Like I don't want to, because that's one thing that's always pissed me off is the fact that it could be from our perspective or maybe the Lotus's perspective, but I don't want to see it from the perspective of like weird wishy-washy. Oh, like the fact that there's a brilliant thing with, was it a Rick and Morty, with Morty's mind blowers, and like, Rick had to stitch in some things to fill in the gaps. And it's like, why can I see other people's memories? It's like, well, no, you should only be able to see what you experienced, or someone else experienced. Not like, for example, the old war cinematic with all those railjacks and the Excalibur Prime and shit like this is like, well, I wasn't there. How the fuck did I see that shit?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were saying earlier, a few weeks ago, about the Harry Potter films, and you always see them from Harry's point of view.
Yeah.
You don't cut away to have a conversation between non-Harry people.
Yeah.
And so you only learn what Harry knows, so you know what he knows, kind of thing. I would like to see it from an Orokin's point of view. I think that they're a faction which are to this point pretty voiceless, because Ballas betrays them. So I wouldn't consider him on their side. There is the Queens, I guess, but we don't even know what's happened to them at this point, and they don't even explain that much. They're just, or is it? I don't even understand. Is it 2 queens or 1 queen or what?
2.
I don't. Are they both Orokin?
Yeah. If you read up the lore entries about them, like it's, oh God, it's they used to be referred to as the Twin Queens. But I think they're no longer referred to as that. They're just referred to as the Queens, right? But they're both Orokin, and they were both like adopted by the Grineer to be their leaders, because I think they did some weird shit. I think they tried to overthrow the Orokin council or something.
I'd like to see it from maybe not the council, but just like a normal Orokin or people from the Orokin's point of view, because what was happening with their empire, what was happening with the resources, what were they wanting to do, like that whole thing. And I'm wondering if Deviri is going to be, once we finish off the Sentients, like the return of the Orokin is going to be through Deviri.
Potentially.
Yeah, and that, so that did we kill them all, and that they're going to be the final enemy. It's like, well, what have they been doing? Are they all dead? I mean, Ballas survived
somehow
all these years. So what have the Orokin been doing? I think that we didn't kill them all. No, we don't even have a real. We don't even know if what we know is true of back then, anyway.
But no, I mean, there was. I don't know if they still exist, but there were codex entries saying, like, the Orokin escaped to the void. There was at least dialogue lines or something that said,
"You got to bring me a
source,
Zale explanation on me that if you want to. I trust a Zale or a source if you've got one, but Zale answer me that question. So,
I'll see if I can find it. Yeah, moving on.
Focus Zale. Right, moving on. So next we have Zrugel asking a question for Loz. If Xeno doesn't use his allotted one Warcraft story per episode, does it carry over to next week? No, it does not. However, if I also do another Warcraft story in an episode, I'm sure he can have another one as bonuses.
Lol.
But you don't often hear me talking about the Warcraft stories for fun. But I could, I guess. And lastly, Rugel says, do you know if I've asked that before? I do not think you have. Because I've just come up with this rule off the top of my head, and I'm probably going to forget about it by next week, and then moan at Xeno for trying to have 2, even though I've had 1, and yeah, so there's stuff going on there, so who cares? But no, that's it for that. Let's move on from the Patreon questions to the
community
normal
responses.
Questions.
Yeah.
Now, okay, can I get you to do something quickly? Can you load the last episode of 10 o'clock?
Not easily. Why?
Well, okay, I'll give you a print screen then. You can see Discord these days, yeah?
Yeah.
Did
something happen?
How come they don't have a name?
They're blank. We spoke about this before.
What's that? How does that work?
No game, no life. It's blank.
But I can't click on their account. How can I not click on their account?
Can you not click on the picture?
No, it just takes me to an image of that picture. Like literally just that image as a thing.
It feels like they have bugged the YouTube, which I'm not surprised. And they probably bugged YouTube years ago and have thus left it as such, which too rightly they should have.
Yeah,
I mean surely just right click on the date, look at the inspect, and you should be able to see the user ID when it does the AREF. But the AREF will be.
What have I got to do?
I'll talk you through it later.
Well, they say want to be friends, but as long as they're not some evil AI that's come to destroy the world, I'm sure they'll be fine.
Hey, I'd rather be friends with a fucking AI if, you know.
Well, I'd like to know who they are first. But anyway, moving on. Decoy says, would the sentient be golems in fantasy? And I suppose they could be golems if they were golems who learned how to make more golems, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
Basically.
Yep.
Thomas Cooperstein gave us an awesome timestamp, which I have saved for all time to remember in my list of times to remember, in which Xeno says, I want it hard, and I want it to stay hard. There we go. It's brilliant. That's now saved. I'll find some time to use that for something hilarious at some point. Google...
Sorry, yeah,
it's a lot. It's saved in the list of things like when you said, "I will never buy another Nintendo console again." I wish I added that last bit on that video where I just chuck it at your head. So that would have been hilarious. Yeah. All right, moving on. Zrugal said, "Should sentients come at you in large quantities? No, because they'd be just like every other enemy, boring." I think that's quite interesting. I agree with that, and I would like to be challenged by a room of mini bosses, is what they should be. JJ24 counters this with, should sentients come at you in large quantities? Yes, asterisk. The sentients should not be treated as typical fodder. In lower levels, maybe one or two sentients should show up to ease players into fighting them. In high levels, sentients should should be the threats the game hypes them up to be. They have a unique position to be the only enemies that will probably survive to use advanced tactics. If operators do increase damage to a single sentient, that can really only be balanced by having multiple enemies trying to kill them. Yeah, it's a tricky trade-off. I was thinking about this, and we were talking about operators and everything. And do you know what I think one of the solutions would be?
I'm hoping you're going to tell me, because, like, fuck, I have any idea. I can't read your mind.
Get rid of amps.
Okay.
I think amps are one of the problems with it, because that they started this whole let's Warframe-ize or bring them into the normal thing with operators. Before then, they all had their hand-operated laser beam.
Mm-hmm.
And it made sense that, I mean, let's make it that when you're in multiplayer games against lots of sentients, to kill a sentient, one person has to channel a beam at an enemy, a sentient, which holds it in place, and then another player kills it. That makes sense. And you can trade off how many, who's doing that utility of it. Because Tony Kovanen pointed out, just brings up to people if they don't remember, in one recent dev stream, I think it was Scott, who said they want the Tenno to be the utility and Warframes to be the fighting. And that's interesting. So if you're going to do that, why have amps? Because amps have different fire rates and different, they're all about damage instead of utility. When we go back, when it was just the hand laser beam, it would have made sense to make it that hand laser beam can immobilize a sentient in place and make it vulnerable, and then someone else can kill it. And then obviously you can do it for solo, that when you're set to solo only, that adds a stacking debuff for a couple of seconds, and you swap back to Warframe and you can still do damage to it. That's what you could do. But now that they've added things like amps, and they're sticking with amps are damage and have to go into the same damage equation that every other gun in the game does. Either that, or you remove the damage component of amps. Amps is when they started taking Tenno down the wrong path.
I agree. Personally, I think
amps what needs to go. They need to get rid of amps or rework them.
I think amps should be an equipable thing for Eidolons, and maybe the Ropa-Dopa list or something.
Yeah.
But I feel maybe removing the amp is how you deal with the sentience. So because obviously the Eidolons are an offshoot of Sentient, like you need to have raw physical power or something like that. Much like
you could just
did.
At this point rework Eidolons, because Eidolons have become jokes of what they were.
Yeah.
You know, even the arcanes, the reward for doing them has just become, well, we've all got loads of it now. The market's in tatters. Is it really worth doing them? Maybe rework them and rework the bloody heavy weapons and get rid of the amps and get rid of the requirement of amps. Just go back to the hand laser and make removing the because all you're doing there is just doing damage to certain sections. Work out how much time you expect. In fact, it make it better for Eidolons, because then they go, right, how long do you want someone to shoot that thing before it loses the radiators? Yeah, you know, the big sections on the Eidolon, right? If you get rid of the amps and the whole damage component and the amp arcanes or whatever other rubbish there is to do with damage, you can then just make it right. We know players will do this much damage this much time. Thus, you need to be shooting these ones for the tier 1 for 10 seconds per thing, or 10 seconds off shot per player on it to destroy that section. Because there's now damage numbers on them, it just, you know, damage numbers and firing types as well. It's so stupid. They should get rid of amps.
Yeah.
Because they haven't committed to making amps have their unique niche and do something beyond Eidolons. They shouldn't exist. They shouldn't be doing this.
It felt super weird that amps were even rewarded as part of Fortuna as well.
Yeah,
anyway,
exactly.
Should we move on?
That was their attempting. Yeah, last point. So yeah, that was just them trying to. Oh well, we're doing amps now. Let's just do this tiny bit to amps. It's like, you didn't need them, or just give us the motamp, or just make us sit with a bloody motamp. Right. Yeah. Let's move on to the topic.
Cool.
So that was the last comment. So we were done on comments. So yeah.
Ooh, Shazbot, I shouldn't have done that.
Do you, by the way, when we're going to? So what's our topic for this week? You do that.
I am just sending you what Zale has said.
Oh, you are Zale on the fly.
Well, of course I did. So our topic is the home Devstream number 3. And I'm finding the topic right here. Sorry, did you ask me something else?
No?
No? Okay.
Oh, no. Are we going to... the one thing I was going to say is, are we going to talk about the cool stats graph thing?
If it's in here, sure. I mean, we can.
Do you have an image of it to bring up?
I do.
You'll look at.
Yeah.
Is it on a hotkey and everything?
It's on Dropbox. Oh, no. It's not on the thing. I can put it on the thing.
Yeah, I want to... So people can look at it. So they can... While we're talking.
Yeah. So let's start breaking it down, and then when we get to that point, I'll have time to have added it in. So section 0. So yeah, Devstream. Oh god, brain, come on, I believe in you. Right, okay. So topic: Devstream at home 3, part 0. Devstream dusting and MISC updates. So things like TennoCon. What's the name of the event thing? The intro video from more of the members of D staff. Glassmaker launch will hopefully be next week. I didn't realize that the cert for consoles was what was holding it back. I would have thought that had already gone out, so that's why it wasn't done this week. Obviously, TennoCon 2020 digital pack should be launched later in May. Rebecca showed off the asymmetrical Syndana, and Loz clearly loved it. Deluxe Protocol still slated for May, but they've made a buffer for a delay in June if needs be.
That's pretty good. They've done that, yeah.
Primary kit guns will be launched with the Deadlock Protocol. I missed that. Nightwave rewards. Nightwave Lander is not a skin. It will have its own unique air support. New QA chat channel coming for the obvious purpose of being players-to-player help. Dojo holodeck preview. New room that you can just basically complete it to your heart's content. Like, seriously, that needs to have like an insane number of assets you can place. Well, I just hope so. Lich Codex screen will now have the button to rewatch the cinematic. I didn't even know that wasn't possible. I didn't even know you could rewatch the intro cinematic for Fortune. Oh,
No.
hiccups.
There's another thing actually that's not listed there,
Yep.
which was it did say in a corner, the Viru Paradox is 2021.
Yes, I will not hold them to that. So
no, I would say I wouldn't even hold them if when they announced this last year, they honestly should have said coming 2021, 2022 from the start. I would much prefer deadlines when you announce it too far in the future and then pull it forward.
Yeah.
Like, give yourself the leeway and say, yeah, we're going to get this done by a year's time. And if you actually get the time to do it in 6 months, go, hey, we got this done early. And I was like, what?
I mean, it's the same with Blizzard. Blizzard were always when it's ready.
When it's done.
Yeah, right.
Then they gave
next part, Deluxe skins. Ash Deluxe will launch with Nightwave. It comes with the Daikyu skin. The next variant will be Ash. His Prex card is with his Prex card, but it hasn't made it to Cert in time, and will launch shortly afterwards. Garuda Deluxe in-game model preview. Stick is real. Korra Deluxe in-game preview. Yeah, I'm not going to read that part out. Sorry, Thadian. Then topic 2, stats for Scarlet Spear, which we'll come back to with the chart. Topic 3, part 3, Railjack revision.
Are you just going to read these all out, or are we going to discuss them as we go?
No. I'm reading. I'm going to read these parts out, right? So, like, we're going to talk about the. Or do you want me to go get the image now?
We've only got half an hour, so I thought we were going to do a bit, talk a bit, do a bit, talk a bit. Are you going to read out all 4 topics, and then we're going to go back through them again?
Well, no, we're going to go back through like topic 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah. So, part 3, topic 3, Railjack revision 2. Railjack will have a join any button in any of the Proximas. Did you notice that they actually renamed Earth and Saturn to Earth Proxima and Saturn Proxima?
No.
Yeah, so they have done that. Updates planned for intrinsics, making them more worth getting, possibly offering better perks. Updates to game modes, although Scott was very vague on the topic on what would be added, further rebalancing and being hooked into the actual game more. Then part 4, hard mode. Once all nodes have been completed, there's a test on the topic of hard mode as a separate section of each node that players can choose to participate in. Starting point for each mission would be base enemies plus X levels. Possibility is there for an ultra hard mode with enemies starting at least base plus 100 levels. Rewards and trophies are being discussed with possible achievements and decorations for players that take part in these harder missions or complete entire planets on harder modes. Devs explain that the choice to put a new node instead of simply scaling up each mission to the players' levels was made to prevent players from getting into the mission without realizing it's the hard mode. Also, so that players could choose not to have hard mode if they don't want it. Closing, brief mention of melee range mode. Missed that. It may or may not be happening now. New shoulder pauldron coming, crewman helmet impaled by a redeemer. I need one of the questions to be, should I rework my aesthetic for arbiters? Right, so I only want to talk about topics 1 and 4. I don't think there's anything worth covering too much of the others. So, topic 2. What?
1 and 4? No, you're talking about
2 and 4. So
what's wrong with talking about topic 1?
Well, what do you want to talk about with the deluxe skins?
Well, Thalian's giving you the awesome thing with the deluxe skin, and I'm actually looking at it now, the original artwork versus the one they've given. And what did you think about it? Because I can see the point here that this is another one where I look at the original art for it, and I would have bought that on the spot if that's what we're getting. Now, I don't know. I'm looking at the actual model, and I think it's some weird parts with it. Like it's supposed to be around her waist. There's a sort of white sort of belt in the original artwork for it. but then this seems to have hiked up to about there.
I don't
on the actual model.
I don't think it's boned properly. I really don't.
As I was thinking, I wonder if it's the animation set.
You know the what?
The what's the term? That you can apply to any frame, like you've got the floating one.
Oh, the
like agile.
Yeah. The stance. Is it
stance. Yeah. I think that might be it, because I think what it's actually doing is it's throwing forward the bottom of the spine, and her neck is. I think if you look at the original model, the concept art, it's supposed to come up the shoulder up to about there, and her neck doesn't seem so big. I'm looking at actual pictures of the example given there. The neck is huge, and I don't know what's going on there. And then the flowers, which should be kind of based down there, are now like up there. So I don't know if it's. So I wonder what's going on there. This model is really interesting. I don't know if it's what they've done to it, but the poor thing just doesn't look right. So I am kind of worried on that.
There is actually, an animation that's. So do you remember one of the animators in the intro video, in the High Tenno video, said that she was working on something that would be revealed. It was either during or after the Devstream. So she posted the sort of like the animation after the Devstream on Twitter, and to me, the model doesn't look so elongated.
Which model?
This deluxe skin for Korra.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
maybe it's just rigged awfully.
Possible.
It looks weird. And what did the Garuda one? To me, I don't know what happened on that one, but again, I'm not sure if maybe that's just badly rigged or something. But it looked thin. It's the thinnest Warframe.
Well,
it's the tiny.
As I said, like I'd much rather thinnest Warframe Garuda than weirdly boned Korra.
I mean, I wasn't going to like it, but I wasn't going to overly complain about Korra until I've seen the concept art of what was intended, and this does not look what was intended. I mean, I thought maybe that D were coming up with hey, let's make this frame look sort of pregnant. I was just like, okay, if that's what we're trying, but it looks nothing like the concept art. So I don't know. Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah, I just genuinely think that it's just not boned right, and no one take that out of context. And anyway, should we move?
Hard, and I wanted to stay hard. Right, moving on.
So moving on to the next part. I've literally just finished getting that graph up. So are you ready to talk about it?
I want that graph to be hard, and I want it to stay.
So you are.
Well, I'm just making terrible quotes for myself by quoting you, but still. Anyway, let's move on to the topics to stats for Scots. Where I had this graph. I've got this up. I need to look at this again. I love this graph. This graph is so interesting to me. Yeah. Why can't we have more of this sort of stuff? Now, I'm a bit of an idiot though. I'm looking at this. What have you got? Is that up for everyone at home?
Yeah.
Cool graph. So you can see the Excalibur Prime over on the top left. You can just replace that with Loz. So that's Loz on our side playing Excalibur Prime pointlessly. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure there's other people playing it, but still, the one thing I don't get on this though, right, is you've got popular and unpopular, niche to broad. What does niche to broad mean? Because we've got breadth and we've got depth. Now, one of these axes is, was it used or was it not used?
Let me actually get the proper image up in front of me, because I'm trying to look at it on this tiny preview, and I'm like, I can't see that.
Sure what it means, because I'm trying to think what stats they're showing here.
I mean, some of these terms are too subjective, and it's like...
No. It's not subjective. They must be measuring actual measurable things.
No, but what I'm saying... Yes, you're right. But I'm saying the use of the word breadth and depth is like, well, what does that mean? It should be like more of a quantifiable thing. It's like, we know what the width is, we know what the length is, but what does breadth and depth mean? Right? Am I swimming?
We're not. Yeah, breadth.
So I feel niche is potentially
statistical steps and steps, I think.
Okay.
Breadth is assessed as the percent of impact criteria that score greater than one. Wait, hang on. What is this? Oh, wait, hang on. Statistical tools to assess the breadth and depth of shrimp aquaculture certification schemes. Ignore me. I'll keep looking.
So, like, I think one of the big things is, like, popular and unpopular is super obvious. Niche, I think, had a specific one job. Broad was covering a variety of things. I think. God, it's really, because obviously, maybe it's the ability usage. So niche was only there for one ability, whereas broad was there for multiple abilities. Like, I could easily see Nidus there in broad because you'd be using like a lot of different things. And Limbo was there only for like one fucking job. Like, all he was doing was putting up Cataclysm and casting the name of the thing. Chroma, I would easily see as, I'm trying to give out damage.
So you're saying top right is, so it's got, I assume breadth must be amount used. Yeah, breadth must be, the bottom axes must be the amount used, because obviously not Excalibur wasn't used much, whereas Mesa Prime I saw all the time.
Yeah.
And Limbo Prime. Yeah. So that's why they're far, far, far on the right of the breadth axis. But then on the depth axis, you're saying depth is how much the abilities were used.
I think so. The variety of ability usage. Because I could easily see Oberon being there just for healing, and he's like pretty much on the line for broad and niche.
Can I just say in the comments, if somebody can read this better than us, please let us know. Because I did hear in the dev stream that one of them, I think Scott's saying, what are these axes? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to work it out. So, but that would mean, because to me, it's almost like, because it's like that, right? Niche to broad it's almost like it's got four axes here. So we've got depth and breadth, but then unpopular to popular is that way axis, yeah?
Yeah.
But then niche to broad appeal is a that way axis and going negatively. So if you had a niche, it's up there.
But the thing is, you have popular niche, right? Unpopular niche, and then you also have broad popular and broad unpopular, right? So they have to be the polar opposites of each other. You can't have them next to each other. Well, I think you could actually have them next to each other. But it's like these are just the labels of the areas. So like the plot would just look different if the left
something on the towards the left was used less and something towards the right was used more, I think. But then what does height mean? Because nothing was used a lot with no powers. Or a lot.
I think it's maybe potentially the job. Maybe, I don't know. It's again, it's like
I really want to understand this. It's so cool.
This is why the terms are subjective. It's just like, it's what does it mean to me?
That's why I'm not looking at the terms. I'm trying to think what is the axes, because they are measuring these things. They're not just going, Chroma Prime has a broad appeal, so it goes here. There is a measurable thing that put it there.
So we know left to right is the quantity used.
It must be.
So what is top to bottom?
Exactly. Because then if you look at that, it's quite interesting, because if you look at that as what made Baruch and Octavia have such a high thing?
Octavia was the buffs. It was like
Baruch?
I don't know about Baruch. I don't know how Baruch really works.
Because if you basically get all of it and shove it to that axis, draw lines that way, you can see who's at the top and bottom. And Baruch and Octavia were higher than Mesa and Limbo. Because of what? Because they used all four abilities, maybe?
Well, Octavia certainly... Well, I think she would use at least 3.
But then But by this logic, obviously the non-prime frames, you see them at low in depth. Now, why is that?
Maybe it's frequency and ability use.
Because interesting, see, like, look where Trinity is.
Where's Trinity Prime? Yeah, I can see
Normal
her.
Trinity. Normal
Oh,
Trinity.
I don't know where normal Trinity is.
Oh, no, yeah, normal Trinity and Trinity Prime have roughly the same depth.
Where?
They're about middle. They're about across the dotted line. Trinity is right far left. You know, you can see it.
Oh, okay.
And Trinity Prime there. Now, Trinity, you're going to use Blessing and maybe Energy Vampire. I don't know. It's weird because I can't explain why all those non-prime. I've got this Hydro Prime in there as well and Zephyr Prime. Yeah, I can't explain why. What does depth mean? Maybe we're tweeting it like who. Oh, I keep saying Sasuke. It's not Sasuke. Who do I mean, Drew?
Are you talking about statistics guy? Ben.
Ben.
Yeah.
Maybe ask Ben. Ben might know. Maybe ask D. Ben.
Unfortunately, like I think they're all signed off by now, so it's like I can't.
Not right now. I mean, anyway.
Yeah.
But still, right. So I think this is so interesting, and I could sit for hours to stare at this, trying to understand what this means. And what's the one thing you're going to take away from this image, though? I know I am.
There are huge outliers that are just like OP as fuck. Like it's just like.
Well, in theory, what you should see is sort of like a line like this.
Yeah, hence the huge outliers.
But they're not. There's not that many outliers, really.
Limbo, Mesa, Octavia, Baruch.
They're not really. I mean, I would expect them to be up a little bit to be on the straight line sort of thing. Baruch and Octavia definitely. And Excalibur Prime.
The sheer volume of people taking Limbo and Mesa. Does that not indicate like a problem?
I think that was more because of the event.
That's
why I'd love to see this. Yeah. I'd love to see this for more things. I'd love to see this for defense, for interception, for bosses, for like, for Eidolons. I could look at. I'd love to compare and contrast these graphs, and if I can understand what depth meant, it'd be so interesting. But my point was Baruch. But it's going to be clearly something is going on with Baruch, and I have just been missing the game on this one.
Yeah.
Something is happening there, and he is something special, clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand Octavia, because Octavia, I can understand it's like buff central. It's like, yeah, I get that. It's really cool. Lots to be had there. Baruch?
What does Baruch... So Baruch has a sleep, which is super useful against the Grineer. Like, so you can protect the name of the thing.
This is, but why can't we just nix?
Where's Boobin? Where's Gara?
Gara's in the middle of popular in a big mess.
Where? Oh yes,
near normal Mesa, really.
Yeah.
Valban Prime is in broad. Valban himself. Valban and Valban Prime are kind of towards the middle.
So Gara, Frost, Hildren.
Oh, yeah, Gara's Gara's used a bit. Where's Frost? Yeah, Gara. Yeah, they were. Yeah. Rhino. Yeah, I know that was used. And Rhino Prime. Yeah.
So that screams to me. So Gara and Frost scream to me. They were used for protecting the beacons. Necros, Frost Prime. So Necros. Is there a Hydroid there?
Hydroid Prime is down in unpopular. Like you can't see him under something with a C. The Zephyr Prime.
Okay, cool. So Necros
and Hydroid, they're all down in.
So Necros screams to me the shadow parts.
Yeah. Oh damn! Yeah, I should try that.
Banshee, Nova, Banshee Prime, Mag Prime, Nova Prime. They're the CCs.
I think Banshee is this unsung hero of the game because you can see, look where normal Banshee is, and then look where Banshee Prime is. I think there's a lot to Banshee. Where the fuck is doing? She's near Excalibur Prime, normal Banshee.
Yeah, I'm interested in what depth is. Anyway, should we move on to the
I mean, we don't want to make the stream staring at Graph Simulator, but anyone who could explain this, please do, because I could stare at this thing all day. In fact, I'm probably, when we sign off from this, I'm just going to talk to Xeno about this some more because it's really interesting.
Cool. Right. So hard mode. Yes. I want this a lot. One thing I seriously want is, how it's talking about you could get rewarded for unlocking a planet on hard mode or something, doing all the nodes on hard. for a planet.
Mm.
I would like it if this was to be the case. You have to lock the planet in hard mode to do this. So if you're trying to do this, then the whole planet is in hard mode, and you cannot go back to easy mode until you have either thrown in the towel and you want to start again, or you have achieved this reward sort of thing. It's like an achievement objective thing. Do the entire... No, you don't want that?
No.
Why not?
No idea where you're coming from now. Why? Can you explain this? Go on.
Right now, it's chop and change. So you can easily jump between easy and hard or ultra hard or whatever, right? My proposition is, if you want... And they're talking about rewarding players for completing... So this is just an example reward for completing a planet, say Earth, on hard. Yeah? So this could be a dojo decoration, this could be a set decoration, whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't want it to be so easy that you just got to take a cheese thing to do one node and job's done. I would like it that when you start to go for this reward, yeah, you have to start... I don't know, maybe make it a quest or something to make it easier to implement. And the entire planet is on hard mode until either you give up and you want to try again later, or you complete it. And then you can pick and choose hard mode or easy mode on that planet again.
I appreciate where you're coming from.
Yes.
Very well intentioned.
Yes. You understand
anything.
You understand what I'm saying, though?
I understand what you're wanting to achieve. However, what you're doing, A, doesn't do it. B, makes a bajillion problems.
What?
C, doesn't actually achieve what you wanted to anyway.
What do you think I'm trying to achieve?
You, as you said, you're trying to make it, because we know that even if you put anything in Warframe, even if you put it to plus 500 levels and try to make it a real challenge, it's going to be just guys online of how you're just going to use the Mesa Limbo cheese strat, or the Zephyr Hydroid easy peasy finish mission strat, and it'll just, or the Loki sneak through every mission invisible strat, and thus the hard, you're trying to make it feel like a challenge and an objective, so that when players have finished the entire star chart on these harder modes, it's like, yeah, look at what I've done, that was a challenge, an achievement, where it makes some cool rewarding game for it. But we all know that people will just find the easy cheese for it, and you're trying to come up with a way to stop that, which is admirable.
No, I'm trying to make it harder.
Yeah, you try. Okay, yeah. But also to mean that make the challenge have meaning.
Yeah,
it won't do a thing what you suggested.
Okay.
All you've done is you've made it that players will go, oh, hi, new player. I'll play on Earth with... Oh, I can't play on Earth with Timmy because I'm locked into super hard mode right now.
Right.
And I want to... So now I've locked off a mass amount of the player base from playing with their friends.
I wouldn't say mass amount of player base.
Well, it will be. It might, if this person can't... There's less missions on Mars. Why? Because so many people are trying that on hard mode, so I'm playing on this on hard mode. It doesn't achieve... And then the second thing, it doesn't achieve what you want anyway, because that would make sense if all we had... Back in the days, that all we had was the star chart, and the Void was a separate region of the star chart, and those were no's, you probably could have done what you suggested, and it would have been cool. Nowadays, though, okay, I'll flip Mars into hard mode. I can still go to the Void. I can still do missions. I can still do all the other planets.
Yeah,
I'm not limited. I can just go to. I can do missions there, here, there, everywhere. Whoop-de-doo. Okay, I'll just leave that one now. Do a couple of missions when I want.
Yeah.
No, what? Okay, it's locked into hard mode. What that means is I won't be in the pool to play normal missions on that planet. Whoop-de-doo. Alerts not a thing anymore. It's not like you're gonna. Oh God, I miss a cool Vauban systems alert on that planet. That doesn't exist anymore. So what does it really... Does it really achieve your goal of making it harder? Not really. It just means that people will still use their cheese mechanics, but they'll just do a couple missions at the time and just slowly work their way through it.
So you think, like, nah, don't bother.
I don't think it'll achieve what you want it to achieve. If you think about how it's implemented, I don't think it will. I don't think... I'm not sure how you could do it, but the only way you could do it is you'd have to make it some weird way, I think, off the top of my head, probably not right, of having some form of currency that you would have to acquire and expend to attempt a hard mode mission.
Okay.
That you have to save that up from doing normal missions elsewhere, and then you spend it on you have to flip to the hard mode star chart, and then you can see how far you've progressed and go, right, you want to do next mission, you need X many tokens to go do this mission. So that means it's an investment to go do that mission.
Yeah.
Problem with that is you then limit the amount. Oh, obviously, once you finish the mission, then there's no currency to rerun the mission because you don't want to limit helping other people do that node.
Yeah.
That may be, because that would limit and slow people's progression through the star chart and make it a meaningful experience to do each node.
The other side of things, not to completely tangent, unless you want to add anything more to that. What I've said.
What? No.
Okay. The other side of things, I want the enemies to do different things. I want there to be new enemies that are behind the hard mode and the harder mode. No, you just want them to be exactly the same.
No, I agree with you. I've always wanted that from the star chart. Always have. Yeah. I remember when I was doing it, and I was just in my first 2 planets. I thought, God, when I get to Pluto, there's going to be all these new types of enemies doing all these new crazy things, and it's going to be really hard. It isn't. The same Corpus Crewman that I fight in Venus, I will fight on Pluto.
Yeah.
He's just got a higher number. He does higher numbers. He's exactly the same. I agree with you completely, and I think that's why they should have. I was hoping that when they made things like the Nox, you should see the Nox on the Grineer shipyard tile sets, because they're a pretty tough enemy. You shouldn't see them later on Earth. They should be, that's why you encounter harder enemies that are new experiences the further you get through the game. That's how games are normally made. You later on you see the elite enemies. In this game, you see normally the same amount of enemies at the start and the end of the game. There's a few, don't get me wrong, there is a few that appear later on and things, but for the majority of things, you just see the same enemies the whole time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe have them do different things. The one thing I'm thinking off the top of my head is the nullifiers. Like, maybe make it that the only way to pop their bubble is you have to deal with the satellite. Right?
Well, it'd be cool if, let's say, this is the kind of thing I'd like to see. Even if you were going to make it that nullifiers you see throughout the star chart. For instance, I don't get why we see nullifiers right at the start and right at the end. They should be like, when you get to X planet, then you start encountering nullifiers.
Like Jupiter.
Why isn't there different flavors of nullifiers? So that on certain planets, they're experimenting on recapacitative shielding. So you have to pop the Sentient, the satellite, to do it. On other ones, maybe there's 2 satellites. On other ones, maybe there is no satellite. Maybe on just 1 planet. I would get behind that. So there's just variations of a theme. That's how I would do it. So at least it feels there's different things going on.
The other, and I'd also want there to be this is for you really need to play the way it needs to be done. So, for example, one enemy, one nullifier, if you shoot, or maybe if you pop the bubble via bullets or the satellite, the bubble sort of it kind of pops and it knocks out your abilities. It sort of expands out quickly. Sort of like Molecular Prime. So it's just like a quick pop and it's just wiped out everyone's abilities because you did it the wrong way. You need to go inside the bubble and stab them.
So it's a different... Yeah, that's another way for another nullifier. Yeah, so it's a trap to shoot it.
Yes.
I get behind that. So you have to be careful. You'd have to avoid shooting the nullifier bubble, and then when you get in the bubble to shoot that one off, and then you don't get the debuff.
Yeah.
Or melee it to death inside the bubble, and then you don't get the debuff. But if I think you'd have to make it if you are the one that shot it from the outside, because you don't want people trolling other people by going in those missions and debuffing the whole team by being the one who shot the nullifier bubbles.
Yes. Well, no, I mean, if you go in the nullifier bubble, then you...
Oh, nobody gets debuffed. Yeah, okay, yeah.
So you can either shoot the guy inside the bubble. So basically, it's one person has to do it.
Yeah.
So not everyone gets it. But again, the only biggest concern I have right now are things like the leech. What are the names of the buggers?
Eximus?
No. It's shit. It's one of the ancients. Disruptor. That sounds right. To be honest, to me, Disruptor Ancients are one of the worst enemies to fight, because at higher levels, there are more of them, and you have no energy to deal with them. All your strategies, people complain about nullifiers. I'm sorry, what?
Hang on, let me look them up to make sure if I make a faux pas.
The purple one.
Yeah, no, you go. Yeah, you go.
Like, people complain about nullifiers, or they used to complain about nullifiers to no end. Like, I don't understand how people, don't have issues with these the disruptor ancients. Is it just a case of no one runs anything with infested? Are people avoiding the infested because of this? Like, the corrupted with the healer ancients are fine, but the disruptor ancients, to me, is just... I'm interested to know what you're going to send me.
No, I don't know how you don't know that this isn't the anti-solution for it. I think I even told you during Scarlet Spear, get some of these.
Oh, no. What I'm saying is, I don't know how you could make them worse.
Why would you want to make them worse?
That's my point. For hard mode, right? I don't know how you could make the infested worse because they already have the disruptor ancients.
The infested are my best example for this. Because whenever I think they want to make the infested more of a sort of a horde of mishmash of enemies, so they always add that when the new infested add in, you see them on every bloody planet. Whereas if it was that when you got to a certain point, like ancients, right? They are ancient. You shouldn't see ancients till deep into the star chart.
Yeah.
I'd love for them to redo this. They used to do that. Used to redo the leveling on the star chart. I'd love them to redo the mob allocation on the bloody star chart. So it felt like as you progress to the star chart, you're encountering tougher things. Ancient disruptors, maybe make them really tough, I guess. Oh, what they could do for ancients is affect their buffing thing between them. You make it so that the ancients do a linky beam and super buff each other, and you have to take them down a very clever.
No, but I mean, like, you have to do that anyway. Like,
make it like they're basically invulnerable unless you kill them in a certain order.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'd like to see, you know how the Manics can pin you down?
Yeah.
So basically have just a regular infested, maybe one of the ones that is just a torso, like it jumps on you and it just basically disables you until one of your friends gets it off you. Right? But limit it so that it can only happen to one player at a time.
Oh, what's it called? You're forgetting something.
Am I?
Yeah, they had these in game. In beta. They had a name. Nervos.
Nervos?
That's Nervos. Yeah, you're thinking of Nervos.
They
had that.
What the fuck is a Nervo?
I'm sure it is. Warframe Nervo. Yep, Nervos. Nervos were small devices deployed by Seekers that latched onto players and stun them, dealing strong damage to shields. While attached, the affected player would hunch over in pain and become incapable of performing any action. Only teammates could destroy the Nervo attacking the victim. When a teammate had been struck by a Nervo, an overhead message appeared dictating that the victim's name and something to her to go help him, her. Affected players also appear as red, flashing across the minimap, simulating fast players. Nervos were ultimately removed from the game during early stages of open beta updates, pending a tuning rebalance pass were never reintroduced. These Nervos function similar to Valban's Tesla, shocking any player comes close to them. However, they are more inaccurate and no longer stun any player they attack. The original Nervos have not been seen since. It was rumored in streams that Nervos would make them up to 16. Home to the upcoming raid mission. That never came to pass.
When were they removed?
Early open beta. I know I didn't see them when I played in July, so it was sometime between when it was at like March or April and July they were removed.
So we never saw them?
You may have seen them in that one time you were playing.
No, I definitely didn't see them then. I didn't get anywhere in the star chart.
Well, it was the Grineer Seekers that deployed them. You know, the guys that now just deploy the roller mines. So, you know, the roller mines that stick to you. Those were Nervos, sort of speak. But when you hacked one on, you were incapacitated.
But even so, like, I'd be down for that for a hard mode.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Do that. Send that to DE and say, for hard mode, give us Nervos back. Send that. I dare you. I double dare you.
Doing it right now.
Do it back. Oh, can we have Nervos back in hard mode? Send it to Scott. Yeah, can we have Nervos back, please?
Can you?
There you go. Bring Nervos at this. They're just called NERVOs. VOS. Nervos.
Is there any chance we could get NERVOS?
Yeah, Nervos. I'll just paste it
back for hard mode missions. Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
And it's public.
They were going to bring those back. They suggest, it says here, they were tempted to bring them back for raid missions.
Yeah.
Because that would make sense. You've got 8 people. Someone would have to deal with them. So, I don't know. So, yeah, that's the... There was also, and you can see this in Total Biscuits videos. This is another thing I thought was kind of cool. where as you were progressing through the star chart, through a mission, you would get to a room, and the door would be locked, and you'd have to kill a particular mob to get the key for the door.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. No.
I think they removed and replaced them with was the friendship doors, is what they replaced them with.
Right.
But so to unlock the friendship door, you had to kill a captain in the room.
Right.
They removed those as well for some reason. I don't know why. But I think that's an addition that should be brought back to the game, because it makes you not just blitz through the mission, but go, right, now we have to actually definitely deal with the mobs in the room.
Yeah.
Hell, you could even make it you have to kill all the mobs to make the captain spawn, and then when the captain spawns, you have to kill the captain. Just at least then it would just people focus on combat and not cheese through the map. Right. What was I going to also say? Did you know why my final point is to finish that off for that way? Do you know why I don't think you'll get any of these things?
No.
One, this has taken years to get to them to agree to put this play in the game, and as Steve was saying, that's Toilet Wednesday, just a simple thing of increases levels, no effort required. B, even though we just come up with all these cool ideas for different ways to make the enemies more interesting and dynamic, Warframe players love to complain there's no depth in the game and complexity. Whinge to high heaven when anything like that is added.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this game's not good enough. Needs more depth. Needs more challenge. Right? We'll give you enemies where you have to. They're invincible unless you shoot the orbs off them. Oh, do this! Oh my god, no!
I love how you said that so loudly. It cut out.
Right. We're going to add in a mob that counters your abilities with an orb. Oh my god! I can't cast my buffs, and when I go in the buffs, they get removed. You can't win. You can't win. You literally ping pong between two things.
This is
so
why
we get this bland nothing of mobs.
Yeah, this is why I think that they shouldn't be led by the hand with the hard mode, like, because they totally are with the normal mode. It's like, nah, that make it too easy. Don't like that. Maybe it's a case of like, we'll try it in the PTC. Nope, they were dying too easily. You can't have it. Instead, have a harder thing.
Yeah, I would love to see this if they do that open-y, testy thing they did before.
Yeah.
I will definitely sign up to this one. And I'll be whinging saying, make harder, 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 make harder. That's all I'm going to do.
Ignore whoever said make it easier, make it harder.
Oh, this mob was a difficulty for me, and it removed my buffs on my Warframe, and this made me scared.
This mob was too easy, kill it.
My power fantasy was removed. Make it harder, make it harder, make it harder, make it harder.
Okay.
There we go. More quotes for everyone.
Right.
I want it hard, and I want it hard, and I want it to stay hard. There we go. That's the quote for 10 o'clock. You have to make the tagline of the episode now.
Okay.
I want it hard.
I want it to stay hard.
There we are. Right. Shall we go on to finish off this episode?
Yes. Cool. So Dojo dusting first. Hold on. Let me just put subtitle.
If you're sure. Do you want those first?
Memes.
You said Dojo dusting first.
I meant memes. I want it hard. Dude, I'm doing two things at once. I want it hard, and I want it to stay hard. Hang on. Let's see YouTube react to that. Cool. So, memes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Yep, they are all the new memes. So, I'll do it through these. So, meme number 1. Oh, some good memes this week, I feel.
The hell?
I violated several laws set by the Geneva Convention. Apparently, this is an article from the Guardian in 2013. Should gamers be accountable for in-game war crimes? Face.
The hell?
I know, right?
The Guardian wrote this.
I'm gonna check. Should I check? Should game?
No, let's just keep going because time. It's not stopping him.
Can't stop me now. Yep, Guardian. That's definitely a page. Yep, it's real. Right, next meme. Next meme. No, next team. That big capitalization. Love this one. Wager target 97 out of 100. Index 0.0. Tenno at 197. Anyo Corp 3. Anyo Corp on the comeback.
Wow.
Brilliant. Absolutely true. Happens every time.
Next.
Right. Next meme, number 3. Not mine. Goes to the OP. The OP was pesky flies. Tenno is shooting at you. Panic. Tenno keeps missing. Calm. Tenno is shooting your shield osprey. Panic. It's great.
Awesome.
Don't need more of those.
Next.
All right, meme number 4, am I on? Yep, 4.
What? Okay.
When you're out of Plat, 20% off. Hold. 50% off. Hold. 75% off.
Oh my god.
It's so true.
Have you noticed how the paint on his face has swapped sides?
Yes, it may have flipped an image.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Anyway, meme number 5. Yes.
Okay.
Dark mode, friendly meme. When you get a rare drop from your relic and everyone picks it, I see no god up here other than me. No, it's so true. When you're the one who gets the rare drop. Yeah. And the final meme of the week. I'm going to be Master Rank 30 in 1 or 2 decades. Leveling 20 plus weapons in a day to get Master Rank 27. The last 3 ranks. So my understanding is based on current amount of weapons it would take them to release, it'll be a long time before we get to Master Rank 30. But I know they keep releasing other things, but apparently at the moment that's how it's going to look. Yeah.
Lol. Right. Moving on to the community shoutouts. What?
Yep. Give them at me.
Okay, so they're in the doc. So, first community shoutout is Doesn't Understand by a Tenno a day.
What if Sagras doesn't respond to LD, Little Duck, because he can't understand what she's saying? Right, look at this beautiful bloody walker at. It's Tuesday, innit? Think it through, bruv. I don't understand. Please stop. I'm begging you. People not. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's up there, Drew. That's
what? Are you trying to say you don't understand the confusion of other people?
Well, they made Little Duck speak English. So I don't know what. I don't think this is true to Warframe.
I think this is the only instance where she's actually speaking English. But yes.
Yeah.
Right. Next.
not accurate.
Yep. The Ghost Lady by Leo the Pug. So I thought this was bloody good.
No, she's distracting on third person, the new Ember's new competitor. That is awesome.
Yep.
I love the idea. It's like a book cover. It's a magazine cover.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That is amazing.
Right.
That's so good. The art was amazing.
Third community shout out is Excalibur Pendragon by Dario. Dario? Or should I pronounce the first name? You cut out entirely. Okay, now I can hear you.
That's not Pendragon.
Yes, it is. No, it's not. Crap, what was that one? Oh, no, that's Hitsu-san's skin. Oh my god, I've got that fucking wrong. Oh, that's the Kabuto one, isn't it?
I think so. I think that's what I was going to guess. Let me check it up.
I got that wrong. I feel bad.
You should feel bad, and you do. So that's good.
Yep.
They're not on the wiki, so I don't know. I think it is, yeah.
Okay.
But it's not Pendragon. But still, it's awesome. That's a really cool one.
Right. Next one is Excalibur Prime by Kevin Glint. I did get that one right.
Actually, it says Kabuto on your document.
No, I just typed that. I literally just typed that.
Okay, good. Oh! See what you're doing, Drew.
Making you happy?
Making me happy is what you're doing, Drew. More painterly approach was quite fun piece of that. Is he wearing a bandana? Oh, he is. Head does look a little bit small. I think it's the bandana. But do you know what I can see on this? I can see on this. You can't see it with your eyes, but I can see it with my eyes.
Moving on.
It's got my face.
Yep.
You can see it. He's painted it incorrectly. Very well done. He or she. I don't know who it is, but they've done a good job.
Kevin Glint.
Number 5. I don't know who they are or who.
Moving on. Right. So number 5 is My Oberon by Armena.
Armena, why'd you stroke his ego so?
I'll wait till the next one.
Also, it's out of date. He's going to have the Corpus one on his arm in 2 weeks, don't we?
Well, yeah.
Pen and paper, they'll do it for him. Because it was his birthday yesterday.
Yeah.
I got him nothing.
Yeah, because he hates me. Right.
My phone remembered. I didn't.
He ignored his phone.
No, I saw it and then forgot about it.
Right. And then the last one is Cake by Veldemoth.
Happy birthday to this best boy Xeno with his favorite oversized tattoo for his carrot cake. I wish best birthday. Thanks for being very kind to everyone. He's not kind. You're all stuck in his web of intrigue and influence. Do you not see? Free yourselves!
Anyway, but this was awesome.
There we go. Right, so just for everyone's benefit, I want to see a long list in the comments of next week's video of saying happy birthday to Xeno. He will appreciate them. So everyone, just want to see a long list that says happy birthday to Xeno if you've made it far this far in the video. There we go. Good.
I feel embarrassed now.
Right.
Are you ready for
As you should.
Right. Okay, so...
Quote of the week.
Okay, so I'm just going to say, this wasn't the movie I wanted to do, because apparently they... no website has any quotes from the movie Mimic. Right?
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, it was like...
Mimic.
Yeah, it's a Guillermo del Toro movie.
Ooh.
It's 1997, and it's a really good movie. So, doing this one... So there's quite a bit of changes, but I'm trying. Anyway, 5000XX, Dr. Tengus joins the High Council, a group of Grineer aristocrats obsessed with cloning. The next year, he acquired the Technocyte virus, which was used to create the Warframes. He who controls it becomes invincible. Tengus's power increased tenfold. 5 years later, Frodbeck decides to fight back. The Institute for Artificial Research and Strategy is born. 10 years later, the proxy wars finally come to an end with the death of Dr. Tengus.
I know this. I know this. Oh! It's an old film, isn't it?
Don't. Crap.
I know.
No, it's not.
It's a new film.
It's post 2000.
Can I have the year?
2004.
So it was almost an old. Oh, I know this. Oh, especially with that last bit where it comes to death of Thingy. Oh. Is it a superhero film? No, it's not. Sci-fi? Yes.
No.
It's Invincible. The death of... You know what? I'm going to give up because of time, but I know. So I'm going to kick myself now.
It's Hellboy.
It's Hitler because it's the war.
Yeah.
I knew this. I knew this. Definitely. Love that film. First film. Both those Hellboy. Have you seen the new Hellboy film?
I have.
Is that a yes?
I have.
And all right. Because those two films
were amazing.
They were.
The second one was so good.
Respected the source material, did its own thing that was really cool, and you can just hold those up as cult classics, both of them. I mean, they might not have done very well, but I never knew anything about Hellboy before them. I love it, and it's just like I can just enjoy those films without knowing that, and I've learned more, and I want to know more about the Hellboy universe after watching those films. We can't get films like that anymore. There's like people who just won't let somebody go off and do awesome things like that. Really cool. And so it was Hitler, wasn't it?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
That's it for this episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We will see you next week, and hopefully I will have gotten my deck board thing working properly, and we won't go over time by 23 minutes.
A bit longer. That's the birthday reward from Xeno to everyone this week.